Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Motorcycle Rewind Stories. This is episode 3 of our story series, and we get to tell the tale of this little Honda CB125 cafe racer that we drug out of a barn, that it had been waiting for somebody to come save it. This is our 1972 Honda CB125 cafe racer. This thing has made lots of friends. It's probably about a 4-year-old build that we went ahead and put together. We did it as part of a CB125 build-off. I'll tell you about how that goes on, but this is it. Just want to give you a quick walk around. Okay guys, so let's tell you the story about how this little CB125 cafe racer came to be. Well, it was about 4-5 years ago maybe. I was at my buddy Yoda's house. You guys, I told that story about him and how I met him in how to turn a Yamaha XS650 into a Ford F-150. I was over at his house, and he has had loads of motorcycles in various states of disrepair, and they were all over. And so in the barn, in one of the barns, we realized that there was a little CB125 that I was interested in. And I said, well, let's just have a CB125 build off. So we ended up dragging 3 CB125s out of the, well, 2 CB125s and 1 TL125 is what he ended up building. Because it was a couple of months, maybe about 3 or 4 months before Barber, and those were gonna be our pit bikes. We were gonna go to Barber, camp there, and these were gonna be the bikes we rode around. So we did. We went ahead and pulled this out, and guys, when you saw this thing in the barn, you were like, why would you even want to build that? But there was no reason to build it back as a stock CB125, because it would still be a 1972 CB125, would have very little value to it. So building it back to a cafe racer was easier because it was going to be cheaper. It was going to be cheaper than trying to find stock parts, right, that look good without having to paint and all that other stuff. So that's what I decided I was going to do on mine. I didn't tell him what I was going to do. We drug them out, put new top end, rebuilt the top end, freed up all the piston, all the cylinders, had to flush them out. That bought some cheap aftermarket carbs to be able to put on these things, and we got them running. And it wasn't about building these, it was just something we could ride around Barber. I mean, that was our intention. Let's build a bike and be able to ride it around Barber. And that's what we did. I chose this route because I thought it'd be fun. I used Amazon points to buy the Clubman bars, so I was able to do that, so I didn't have any money in it. We spent very little money on replacing the cylinder. You can buy aftermarket Chinesium ones, so we did that. We had Shorty exhaust already, we did it. The crazy thing is, I searched for CB125 cafe tank and tail, cafe tank and seat, right? And I was able to buy this whole kit as one unit. Came pre-painted. It's not the best, but it's the best one that's on this bike, right? Again, I wasn't trying to build a show bike. I was able to do it. I did build a battery tray under the hoop so I could relocate everything. I didn't like it open without the side, so I searched online for side cover, and on eBay I found these for maybe $25 from Thailand. It took about 2.5 months to get here, and they match good enough, right? It worked out for me, but we were able to go ahead and build this bike all the way. I think the headlight bucket is from, this was stuff we had laying around. The headlight bucket is from a Rapido, a Harley Davidson Aramachi Rapido that we went and put together. Everything else, put new tires on it, and then we just rode it like we stole it. And we were able to take it to Barber, ride it around. I could have sold it at Barber 10 times. It's been amazing. It makes lots of friends everywhere we go with it. It's just small, but it's fun. It's a kick in the pants to ride. It feels like you're flying, but you know you're not. And it was just fun, you know. People go, well, who won the build off? Well, there was no real metric for who won. It was just about building 3 bikes. The other one was Howard's nephew, Joel. And we built one up for him so that he could have it, you know. And so we ended up with 3 motorcycles, and they're awesome. This is one of those bikes that's going to kind of stick around just because it's got a great story with it. When you see the before to now, it's through the roof. So let me go ahead and strap on the GoPro, and let's take this thing for a rip. Let's go ahead and kick this thing over. bike is just so much fun to ride. Like I said, your riding angle, your riding position just feels like you're flying, and the bike is little bitty. But let's give it. My neighbors totally love me. No, really, they do love me. I tend to make a lot of racket, but they know what's going on. It's so funny because this is my test route. It's about when I first get them going, it's about a mile from beginning to end. And I tend to ride down here. The speed limit's only 15 miles an hour. And I tend to ride down here when I'm shaking bikes out, and they're making, you know, when you're shaking a bike out, getting it running the first ride. I mean, I ride them down without a tank. I'm holding a bottle, or I've got it strapped, zip tied to the handlebars, and it's backfiring like crazy and popping. And so they love me for that. But with this bike, I remember one day I was riding it, and one of my neighbors came out, and he was walking his dog, and I passed by him, and he yelled something. And I just happened to be in one of those moods, and I wanted to figure out what he said. So I turned around and I said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What did you say?" And he said, "You're going too fast." And so I said, "Well, how fast was I going?" And he wasn't ready for that question. And he goes, "Well, I don't know." And I said, "Okay, it just sounds like I'm going fast, but I'm not." Which I was going well over the speed limit, but it was funny because I just asked him how fast I was going, and he wasn't prepared for the question, so he didn't know how to answer it. But this little bike is just a kick in the pants. It's fun, it's great, everything about it. I need to clean it, but everything about it is just awesome. So really love this bike, and it's a lot of fun. So, like I said, I could have sold it at Barber 10 times. Everybody in our booth, everybody wanted to know about it, wanted to talk about it, wanted to know how much it was. And so I am looking for another little Honda CB125, 175, something that size that I can just build another one so I can move it on so somebody else can enjoy it. But if you like these tanks, this tank and seat, again, it was a kit. I just Googled Honda CB125 Cafe Racer tank and seat, and it came up with this. So it was incredible, and came pre-painted. I mean, the paint job could be better, it could be thicker, could have more paint on it, but hey, like I said before, it's the best paint, best tank I have on this bike. Nice little pop. Everything about this bike is awesome. So, you know, I always get the question when people find out you have 12 motorcycles in your garage, they always ask, well, why do you have so many motorcycles? They're all different. Each one rides different, each one feels different, each one sounds different, and they evoke different emotions. And that's what each one of our motorcycles, that's what it's about. I mean, I've got two Yamaha XS 650s that are completely different, polar opposites. One's a bobber, one's stock. They sound different, they feel different, they ride different, and that's what it's about with these old motorcycles. It's finding one that just kind of gets you, right, and grabs you, and then there's something about it that just feels good. And if you can find one that does that, that's it. Will it piss you off? Most definitely. It's going to yank your chain, it's going to drive you to drink it, but that's the best part about it. Okay guys, so there's our story of our Honda CB125 Cafe Racer. And I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And you can follow us on Instagram at Motorcycle Rewind. Thanks again guys, and have a great day.